Hello guys, today I'll be reviewing Power Windows by Rush. This album, of course, came out in 1985, and the album shows them continuing down the path of using synthesizers, and they also kind of explore what they can do with synthesizers too, especially with building some kind of mood or atmosphere with certain songs. And I think they do that fairly well, especially with certain songs that we'll get to, of course, eventually. But yeah, I think this is maybe their most underrated album, or if not one of their most underrated. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into these songs. The album starts off with The Big Money, which was, of course, one of the singles, and lyrically, it's basically about the power of money and the magnitude of trade in the modern global economy. And yeah, the album lyrically throughout does talk a lot about power and stuff, basically themes like that. But The Big Money is definitely one of my favorites on the album. It really shows the talent of the band, especially with how great the chemistry is between certain instruments, such as the chemistry between the synthesizers and the guitar. I think it works really well here. There isn't an instrument that's more overpowering over the other, but yeah, really dig this song, and definitely one of the highlights off the album for me. But next we have Grand Designs, and the song is also another favorite of mine on the album. And musically, yeah, you can tell that it's of its time, 1985, but still a pretty solid song, I'd say. Not a whole lot to say about it. It doesn't bring a whole lot new to the table musically, but still overall, pretty solid song, and again, one of my personal favorites. But next we have Manhattan Project, and I believe this song was inspired by some things that Neil Peart read about the Manhattan Project, of course, and this is one of the songs on the album where the synthesizers, I think, do a great job at creating some kind of engaging mood or atmosphere, especially in the verses. And overall, a pretty good song. Not one of my personal favorites on the album, but I do like it though. But next we have the song Marathon. This was another single off the album, and lyrically this song uses marathon as a metaphor for life. I did not know that until recently, and I thought that was kind of interesting, but definitely one of the more hooky or more catchy songs off the album. I mean, it's a little over 6 minutes long, but it obviously doesn't feel that way, because I think the song does enough to keep you interested throughout the whole song length. And yeah, overall, all around a pretty catchy song. But next we get to Territories, and I think the rhythm work is really catchy and really pulls you into the song. Maybe not the most complicated rhythm work in the world, but again, does enough to keep you engaged in the song. And kind of like with the Manhattan Project, I think the synthesizers do a great job at creating an engaging mood or atmosphere for the song. And yeah, all around a pretty catchy song. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but if not, maybe an honorable mention, because it is a song that I've grown to like more and more with time. Next we get to these two songs, Middletown Dreams and Emotion Detector. Out of all the songs on the album, these are probably the two songs that definitely sound the most of their time, or definitely sound very 1980s or very 1985, however you want to put it. But with Middletown Dreams, that's always been one of my personal favorites on the album. I really like the synthesizers and its chemistry with the rest of the instruments. But with Emotion Detector, that song has 1985 or the 80s written all over it. But I don't know. Even with the 80s cheese, you could arguably say, I still really like Emotion Detector. Still a song that I still enjoy. But finally we get to the album closer, Mystic Rhythms, which is kind of a fan favorite off the album. It was, of course, one of the singles too. And musically, kind of feels theatrical in a way. If I remember correctly, I believe this song was used for an intro for some news program. I can't remember what it's called. I did look that up recently. I can't believe I forgot what it was, but I think it was like on NBC or something. I can't remember, but either way, overall, musically, a pretty engaging song. Kind of feels, again, kind of theatrical in a way, musically, and yeah, not a bad choice for a single either. Kind of like with Marathon, the Big Money, I think this song is also pretty catchy and overall a pretty solid way to close off the album. But anyways, if I had to rate this album, I'd probably give it maybe an 8.5 or a 9. I'd probably give it one of those two scores out of 10. But yeah, my rating for this album could change at any time. It does change sometimes, but as of now, I'd probably go with either an 8.5 or a 9, or an 8.5 to a 9. Because overall, I think this is a pretty strong album in their discography that I do think sometimes gets a bit overlooked. But of course, if you haven't heard the album in a while, definitely give it another listen, especially if you're a Rush fan. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on the album. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know some of your favorite or least favorite songs on the album and all the good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment and like, subscribe. Have a nice day and take care.